The recent large-scale aerial assault launched by Russia against Kyiv, Zaporizhzhia, and multiple other Ukrainian regions represents a significant and brutal escalation in Moscow's campaign of terror and attrition. This sustained, 12-hour-plus bombardment, occurring shortly after high-level diplomatic activities at the UN General Assembly, underscores Russia's unwavering commitment to prosecuting the war through the widespread targeting of civilian infrastructure. Summary and analysis. The attack was notable for its sheer volume, ranking among the largest single air assaults since the beginning of the full-scale invasion. Ukrainian military sources reported that Russia launched approximately 595 Shahid-type one-way attack, OWA, drones, and 48 missiles. This saturation strategy aims to overwhelm and deplete Ukraine's sophisticated Western-supplied air defense systems. Despite the monumental scale of the attack, the Ukrainian Air Defense Forces demonstrated extraordinary proficiency, claiming interception rates of nearly 95% for the drones and over 80% for the missiles. This success rate is a testament to the integrated, multi-layered air defense network Ukraine has built. However, the devastating nature of the remaining breaches cannot be overstated. Hits were recorded across residential areas, factories, and critically, a cardiology institute, confirming the indiscriminate nature of the targeting. Tragically, the attack killed at least 4 civilians, including a 12-year-old girl, and wounded dozens more. While the successful interception saved countless lives, the deliberate targeting of non-military sites highlights a strategy of psychological warfare aimed at eroding civilian morale. Reasons and objectives. The timing of this mass strike suggests several overlapping strategic and political objectives. Air defense depletion. The primary military goal is to force Ukraine to expend valuable and expensive interceptor missiles, such as Patriot and NASAMS munitions, against cheap, domestically produced Russian drones. This is a classic attrition tactic, designed to degrade Ukraine's ability to defend critical infrastructure ahead of the coming winter. Strategic messaging and political rejection. The assault served as Moscow's immediate, violent response to recent diplomatic developments, specifically the UN General Assembly, where Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy secured renewed support. Furthermore, it followed an apparent shift in tone from former US President Donald Trump, who suggested Ukraine could win back its territory. By immediately launching a massive attack, the Kremlin signals a rejection of any notion of negotiation or diplomatic pressure. Testing NATO boundaries. The massive salvo, following a pattern of recent airspace violations by Russian aircraft and drones over neighboring nations, including Poland, Denmark, and Estonia, serves to test the readiness and political resolve of NATO's eastern flank. Poland's subsequent scrambling of fighter jets underscores the growing risks of accidental escalation. Preparing for winter. This attack is a likely prelude to a renewed campaign to destroy Ukraine's energy grid, mirroring the devastating strategy employed in the winter of 2022 to 2023. By striking logistics and industrial targets, Russia seeks to cripple Ukraine's ability to sustain its war effort and keep its citizens warm. Consequences. The consequences are felt across humanitarian, security, and diplomatic spheres. Humanitarian cost. The most immediate and tragic consequence is the loss of life and the destruction of civilian homes and medical facilities, forcing large populations to live in a perpetual state of fear under the constant threat of aerial attack. Regional security. The overspill effects were immediate. Poland placed its air defenses on high alert and scrambled fighter jets to safeguard its airspace. This incident further raises the perception among NATO members that Russia is engaged in a hybrid war aimed at destabilizing Europe through airspace incursions and suspicious drone activity. Renewed calls for aid. The attack intensified international pressure to rapidly supply Ukraine with more comprehensive air defense assets, particularly mobile, short to medium-range systems capable of economically countering swarms of OWA drones. Ukraine simultaneously renewed calls for the international community to take decisive economic action against Moscow. Prediction and solutions. Prediction. Based on the current pattern, Russia will continue to rely heavily on mass saturation attacks, particularly targeting critical infrastructure as the weather cools. The intensity will likely fluctuate based on Russia's production cycle, and its desire to exploit perceived diplomatic opportunities or vulnerabilities in Western support. Russia views this as a war of attrition, aiming to exhaust Ukraine's defense resources and the West's political will simultaneously. The use of drones and missiles as a political tool will also continue, with strikes often coinciding with high-profile international events or major aid announcements. Solutions and recommendations. Layered air defense, military priority. Western partners must accelerate the delivery of high-end air defense systems, Patriot SAMP-T, NASAMS, to protect major cities and critical industrial hubs. Crucially, cost-effective counter-drone solutions are needed immediately, including high-energy laser systems and mass-produced, low-cost interceptor munitions for mobile air defense teams to protect against the cheap Shahed swarms. Energy grid resilience, strategic priority. Ukraine must continue to decentralize and harden its energy infrastructure. This involves providing protected generators, transformers, and mobile substations, ensuring that the country can survive the coming winter heating season despite sustained Russian attacks. Intensified economic pressure, diplomatic priority. As President Zelenskyy requested, international partners must act decisively to cut off Russia's energy revenues. This includes stricter enforcement of sanctions, particularly targeting the shadow navy of tankers used to circumvent oil price caps, thereby limiting the funds available for drone and missile production. Long-range counterstrikes, offensive option. To halt the launches, Ukraine must be given the capability and political clearance to target drone and missile production and launch facilities deep inside Russian territory. As long as Russia maintains protected launch sites, the defensive effort will remain inherently reactive and costly. These steps are essential to shifting the strategic balance, ensuring Ukraine's survival through another winter, and demonstrating that the international community will not tolerate this war against civilians.